Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, how are you? Good morning. I hope today that you are in a good condition. You have a good spirit motivation in learning English. Back again with me with similar channel with different discussion with Rizam Zaki at Fast Fun English at Smash. Well, students, today in a beautiful chance, I would like to tell you about the lessons that relating with the monologue text. You want to know about that? Let's check this out. Okay, here I take the title "It starts from." Means that it is relating with functions of the monologue text that we gonna discuss this day. Okay, before that, I would like to introduce you the contents of basic competence in cognitive skill and also the psychomotor skill. The basic competence of cognitive skill, it has contents that distinguishing social function, genetic structure, and language feature, written and spoken of some explanation text by giving and asking information dealing with natural phenomena or social interactions in other subject of class 11 based on the context of its use. So today we discuss about the monologue text, especially in explanation text, and it tells what specifically in natural phenomena. Okay, for indicators, you can see here identifying user function, general structure, language feature, and also comparing some of explanation set. It is the last activity that you should do in the point 3.8 in basic competence of cognitive skill. Now we go to for 4.8 in psychomotor skill. It consists of capturing the meaning contextually, dealing with social function, theory structure, and language feature of written and spoken explanation text about natural phenomena or social interactions in other subject of class 11 is the context of its use. And also it has indicators identifying main idea, communicative approach, specific information, explicit information, and also identifying the language feature. So students, let's go to the main discussion of our lesson today. In the first discussions, I would like to show you about the video that consists about the process of something that relating with natural phenomena. Just watch this.
Let's look at the science of rain and how raindrops form. First, we'll need the sun. When the sun shines on water on the Earth's surface, the heat of the sun warms the water, turning it into an invisible gas called water vapor. This process, the changing of water into a gas, is called evaporation. Because gases are lighter than liquids, water vapor rises up into the sky. And the further you move up and away from the Earth's surface, the colder the temperature gets. So in the sky, the water vapor cools and changes back into tiny water droplets. This change is called condensation and is the opposite of evaporation. Clouds are made up of tiny water droplets, so when condensation occurs in the sky, clouds form and grow. Let's take a closer look. When water droplets bump into one another, they stick together and grow in size. They continue to grow until they are too heavy and fall as rain. They even grow as they bump into one another on their journey from the cloud to the ground. And every single raindrop that reaches the ground is made up of 1 million of the original tiny water droplets. Raindrops fall on the ground's surface where the sun can shine on them, and the whole process happens again. This is called the water cycle and keeps water moving from the ground to the sky, providing the water needed for plants, animals, and people to survive. So now you know.
Okay, that's student a short video that you watch about water cycle or about how the rain the process. So this is one of the example of the explanation text that relating with the natural phenomena. And the question is, what does this video talk about? as I've just said to you, and this talks about explanation how water cycle is proceeded. And now we go to the next discussion. Well, this is the next discussion. I give you the example in the text while the previous screen that you watched the video about the explanation text. Now I show you about the text that consists of explanation text. Okay, this is the example of the explanation text I quoted from earthweb.ess.washington.edu. You can search for this text in this web. And then the next is, there are three questions that are proposed here. The first is, what is the communicative approach of the text above? The communicative purpose means that the purpose of why the writer writes this one. So what exactly the purpose of this text? And the answer is, explain about how tsunami happens. So this text, when you read this, it consists of the process how tsunami happens. And then mention and show generic structures of explanation text. In explanation text, there are some stages that you should have when you compose explanation text. The first is general statement or introductory paragraph. The second is sequence explanations, why or how something occurs. This is rather similar with the procedure text, while the difference between procedure text and also the explanation text, well, the procedure text, it tells about the process of how to make something, the process of how to turn on, or the process of how to create something. But in the explanation text, it is different. Exactly, this is also relating with the process of something, but it tends to natural happening. So it doesn't have any people interference. So it is natural phenomena or natural happening. So where is the general statement and also where the sequence explanation are? You can see from this screen here. Okay, this is called as the general statement. So this paragraph consists of what exactly we are going to discuss in this explanation text. So we introduce to the reader that we can discuss this topic. While in sequence explanation, it tells about some process that's happening relating with the topic or general statement given. While this is telling, the general statement is telling about the tsunami, so the sequence explanation should be the process how tsunami happens. And remember that explanation text relating with natural phenomena, not artificial activity. The next is, find out the language features used in the text above. The language feature used in the text above is, that is passive voice. Okay, so exactly there are some language features used, like when in the first paragraph you have simple present here. The term of tsunami comes from this only the opening of the introductory paragraph, and then it tells about what exactly Su, what is Nami, Su Harbor, Nami web series using simple present. While in the second paragraph, in that I have already rectangular it by the green line, it is called as passive, and then it is followed by simple present. But so in conclusion, that explanation like not wholly of the sentences using passive voice, not the whole sentences in explanation text using passive voice, but they are mixed. But the language features used in the explanation text is passive voice. Okay, students, now we go to the next of discussion. I have two texts here. The first about petroleum products, and the second about how Venus eclipse. You can read by yourself. It is while petroleum products taken from lopngoingu.com, while how Venus eclipse happens in britishcourse.com. So you can read by yourself here for a while, and you can pause it, your video, then you read them. Well, after that, after you have already read them all, now you should fill this one. Text 1, general statement, what paragraph or which sentences that include in introductory paragraph. In text 1, which sentences that includes in sequence explanation why or how something occurs in text 1, as well as it also applied into text 2. You should put the general statement of text 2 and also the sequence explanation in text 2. That is the activity of the first assessment. You should fulfill this one. Okay. Okay, students, we go to the next activity of in 4.8. In 4.8, I need you to listen to the audio carefully and then answer some of these questions. If you're ready, I play this.
This is the problem. Take a pair of...
Lightning is so impressive that when it happens, it stops you in your tracks. And many have asked, why don't we capture this awesome power and use it to power our industries and boil our kettles? There are many mysteries about lightning. For example, we still don't fully understand how the bolt of lightning gets started. Even so, we have some knowledge. The process begins inside a thunderstorm where the two important ingredients are located. First, there's air moving rapidly upwards, and second, there are freezing temperatures ranging between 15 and 25 Celsius below zero. These rather perverse conditions produce three types of water. First, and rather surprisingly, there's some actual liquid water. It's in the shape of small water droplets that are supercooled and so remain liquid, even though the temperature is way below zero. Second, as you would expect, there are some small crystals of hail. Third, and again a bit unexpected, there are quite large blobs of soft hail with the unusual name of graupel. Graupel is about 2 to 5 millimeters across and happens when supercooled water freezes on the outside of, say, a snowflake. Thanks to the strong updrafts of wind, the graupel runs into the other two types of water, the small supercooled droplets and the small ice hail. Via a complicated process, they become positively charged, while the graupel becomes negatively charged. The supercooled water droplets and the hail are much smaller and lighter, so the strong upcurrents of wind inside the thundercloud carry them upwards. This makes the top of the thundercloud become positively charged. The positive charges repel each other, and so they spread out away from each other, and this is part of the reason that you get the so-called anvil, the large flattened area at the top of a thundercloud. But the third type of water, the graupel, the soft hail, is larger and heavier, and either stays where it is in the strong updraft or falls to the bottom of the cloud. Either way, the bottom of the cloud becomes negatively charged. In turn, this negative charge on the bottom of the cloud induces a positive charge on the ground, a kilometre or more below. The electrical tension between the bottom of the cloud and the ground can be huge. In extreme cases, it can make your hair stand on end. Eventually, taking some 20,000th of a second, a lightning strike stutters its way down towards the ground in a series of steps. Each step is about 45 metres long, a tad smaller than an Olympic swimming pool. This downward-going lightning bolt is clearly visible, even though it's travelling at around 200 kilometres per second. It's carrying about 10 to 100 amps of current. For comparison, 10 amps running a domestic electrical heater will make the power cable a bit warm, while 100 amps is a bit more than your entire house can draw from the electrical grid. So I'll enlighten you more about that next time.
What does it mean? Why is it so?
So students, that is the listening section that you should do in the second assessment. So the first assessment, you should combine between two texts of explanation text and also analyze or identify the generic structures of the explanation text. And the second assessment, I need you to answer 5 questions that I proposed here while you are listening to the audio that I played, and then you can answer questions that I gave. So students, I think that's all for the meeting today, telling about the explanation text. I hope that you understand about my explanation. If you have some questions relating with the topic today, you can please do your discussion in the GC, Google Classroom, or in WhatsApp. Okay, students, I think that's all for the meeting today. Meet again with similar channel, different topics, another time with me, Rizam Zaki, Advice, Fun English at Smash. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.